Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekend analysis here. Today is Friday and the markets are closed. We are now about to analyze the market and see what opportunities we have for next week. Before we begin, please note that we do have the promo still running where you can get 40% off using the promo code first OFP. Then, if you're a regular user, you can use the promo code OFP30 where you get 30% off. This promo is ending in 9 days, which is the 30th of August at 11:59 p.m. CET. So make sure you grab yourself an account before then. So, without further ado, let us jump right into your analysis this evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. So, starting off with the dollar index. So, the dollar index this week, we were hoping that it might probably reverse, go into the upside, probably touching 100. But unfortunately, it continued weakening to the downside. And then we had a bit of a consolidation right here and we seem to be stuck here and probably unsure where we might be going for the remainder of the coming week. Well, what I do think next week is if we do have a break beyond 99 here, then we could be bullish. Then if we have a break below 98.50, then we could be bearish. So these are the two scenarios that I do think may happen next week. So this one we are still aiming for the upside, and then for the downside, we would still be looking for a shorting opportunity just here around 9850. Then euro dollar is also in the same situation. We're looking for a shorting opportunity, but unfortunately, it didn't come down to where we wanted it to be. So here, I do think we could be also looking for the same thing, but we might be looking to probably be short around 16500. So this is a level I am looking for the bucket to come down to around 16500, and a high stop loss just above these previous highs would probably do it. And then aiming still for the downside around 1.13 is also 1.13500 is a level we could be targeting here on euro dollar. Then dollar yen, we kind of actually had an opportunity to go short, but it unfortunately stopped us out to the upside. But the short idea is still in play. So here, what we could be looking for next week is probably a dip below this previous support level around 158351 with a high stop loss probably around there around 59240, aiming for the previous low which was here around 155. So I do think there will be some yen strength next week, especially since there will be some yen news. So that's what we can anticipate for next week on dollar yen. Then coming with also pound yen. Pound yen, we unfortunately did not manage to touch our sell stop here. It continued going all the way up, and it seems like we'll be touching this resistance level on the very top here. Then the overall trajectory of this move coming down will change. It will change from a bearish um bias to a bullish bias right immediately once it touches that resistance level. And so next week we could be just aiming to make a new low, probably right below 216450 with a high stop loss and aiming for the downside at 209400. So that is what we can expect for next week. And then this could be a nice 8-to-1 trade. So that could possibly be a nice winner that we could probably get in, provided, of course, the market does come down below 216450 on pound yen. Then let's look over at dollar Mexican. So dollar Mexican, unfortunately, also it did not manage to move to the upside. So we might actually be looking for this move to the upside once we cross 1700 on um, dollar Mexican. So we would be looking for the market to push strongly bullish to the upside come next week, touching 17 for 1 peso, a dollar to a peso. Then we would be aiming to the upside, probably in touching 1760, which would give us close to a 5 to 1 trade on dollar Mexican. Then CAD Swiss. CAD Swiss seems to be going quite well on the short. And we had this. So next week, I am still hoping that this market could still push down to 0.57370. So that could be a nice level of a bearish momentum, and that is what we could possibly anticipate for next week on CAD Swiss. Then pound dollar. Pound dollar, unfortunately, did not come to the downside here where we're hoping that it might go short. It continued to the upside, and we might actually be reaching 1.40 if this bullish momentum continues on pound dollar, where the pound will be selling for $1.40 for £1. So that is also a possibility which we could come to. But right now, I am still bearish on this. So probably next week we could be looking for a shorting opportunity at 1.36150. If we do, if we do drop below this level, that would be great because we would be still aiming for the previous level here around 1.32700, which is a support level, and this could be a nice 5 to 1 trade for next week. Then gold. Gold is totally self-explanatory at this point. We are aiming for 5,000 for gold, and we entered here a while back. It had its consolidation, didn't do much, but right now it seems it wants to finish up what we started, the 6 to 1 trade. And right now we are literally more than halfway to the upside. So next week, we could even possibly be seeing ourselves go past these previous resistance levels if possibly the dollar continues to weaken, most especially. But if most of the other countries continue to pump in more into gold, then possibly we could be going beyond 4,800 next week, or even before the month ends, since tomorrow is the last week. Then the following week, starting September, we could also be bullish, going all the way up. So anything is possible on gold at this point. You can even probably do all of this in one day and reach 5,000. And that could even possibly be close to 10% move. 8% is possible on gold. So this is something we need to keep in mind, that gold is as those moves to the upside that are totally impossible on some days, even to the downside. So anything is possible, and we could possibly even make 8% in just a day. But let's not jump the gun on that. Next week, we could just possibly be aiming to reach 4,700 since we're already in the 4,600 territory. Then NAS 100. NAS 100 is still holding, surprisingly. So right here, hopefully this holds and we could make a new high. If not, if we do break below 29,000, then this could be a call for bearish momentum to the downside, and we could possibly be touching 27,000 on NAS 100. But right now, still bullish, aiming for the top side. 30,800 is the aim, and we're hoping that does come to fruition next week or in the coming weeks. Then Bitcoin. So Bitcoin unfortunately stopped us out here. We had our long-term move, and Bitcoin just decided to shoot all the way up to 77, almost crossing 80,000. So the beckoning question here is, will this continue bearish, or will we be making new highs on Bitcoin, probably even touching 120,000? Possibly, possibly. If we do cross beyond probably 90,000, then maybe we could be back into the 100,000 um area. But right now is too early to determine. We had a very parabolic move to the upside, and there has not been any support level which we can say that Bitcoin could probably hold. So we could have possible pullbacks even to 72,000, even probably to 70,000. Anything is possible. But of course, we did make a new high close to 80,000. So maybe during this weekend, we might actually consolidate for a bit, break to the upside, possibly create some support levels here. Then, possibly, if we do break those support levels, we could be in bearish momentum. But as of now, we are still bullish on Bitcoin. There is nothing else that can be said about this move to the upside. We probably could even be touching 90,000 before the year ends as well, even 100,000. So this is also a possibility on Bitcoin. So let's keep that in mind. As of now, what I can actually be looking for on Bitcoin is probably having a pending buy order to the upside right here around 79,000, and possibly put in a very tight stop loss probably around 76,000, but then still aiming probably to touch 90,000 for a Bitcoin. So that is a nice 3-to-1 trade that we could be aiming for on Bitcoin. Then Ethereum, I do not even think we need to talk about this one. Ethereum literally skyrocketed. It came all the way from 1,800, and now it is at 2,400, almost um doubling its move here. So this is literally from this consolidation that we had spanning for literally almost a whole month. We pushed to the upside with 31%, and this is very, very strong. But of course, there will be some weakness, and we might be having those pullbacks. But how far do you think we can go for Ethereum? Well, Ethereum could possibly be touching 3,000, probably even before the end of this month or early September. So on this one, we could be looking for some slight pullback. So I would be looking for a pullback into probably this previous resistance level. That should be around 2,325. And then we could be looking for tight stop losses, probably around 2,100, and then aiming for 3,000. This could also be another 3-to-1 trade that could work out on Ethereum rather, coming into next week. So this is what we can anticipate for next week, and this is where we also come to an end. Hello, Gaston. Yes, Gaston, gold has literally been trapping people this week, but of course, the upside is what gold has been aiming for. And at that time, you weren't very comfortable with the price of gold falling, and you were right. What technical justification did you have having the view of the price of gold? Impressive. Yes, overall, that move on gold from way back was a very tight stop loss. Of course, that's what you always want to aim for, tight stop losses and larger moves when you're swing trading, because you want it to be really worthwhile, Gaston. And 5,000 was a level everybody had been talking about that they wanted gold to come back up to. But then confidence was all lost for some time. And when markets do consolidate, people lose interest. And then that's when the actual move happens. So that's one thing I've seen about markets. When people lose interest, that's when they move the market and things start happening. By the time you're actually entering, the move has already happened. So you always need to prepare yourself, set those levels that you want to reach on whatever assets you're trading and stick to them. If you deviate from them or you think it's all boring waiting for that move to happen, then you might be out of luck and might actually miss the move. I'm sure you have seen this with yourself as well, Gaston, when US 30 was probably trying to make new lows, but you said it was slow. So most people also see that. Like 90% of traders will see that slowness, probably even 99% of traders will see the slowness in the market and lose interest. But by the time the move they were anticipating happens, it will be too late for them to enter. So it's always important to stick to your rules, stick to your analysis, and also what you're actually looking for, and not jumping from one thing to another, or else you miss the actual move you are were anticipating. So that is how one can be able to catch those enormous moves, whether it's on Bitcoin, whether it's on gold, whether it's on US 30 or NAS 100. You need to be patient enough to wait out that consolidation, and then you'll be part of the people who are making the big money, especially on the swing trades. Right. So thank you all for joining me this evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are in the part of the world. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And don't forget, the promos are still running 40% off if you're a first time user using the promo code first OFP. Then if you have been with us for quite a while, you can use the promo code OFP30 where you get 30% off. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your weekend and happy trading.